Good Thursday morning. My name is Jerry Miller. Welcome to the Virginia Wedding and Event Showcase presented by Barb and sponsored by Keswick Vineyards. Guys, we're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille network. This an hour look into the phenomenal vendors that comprise one of the most important industries for Charlottesville and Central Virginia, and that's weddings and events. We have the insider. She's known as the fairy godmother in the business, Barbara Lundgren. Let's go to the studio camera. Judah Wickhauer, our director, and welcome the star of our show, Barbara, to the set. Good morning.
Good morning.
Show number 2 for you?
Show number 2.
How are you feeling?
A little more nervous this week than
really?
last. Yeah.
Why do you think that
I
is?
have no idea.
The first one went so well.
I don't know.
And we have so much to cover with Phase 3.
Yes, a lot of information out there and non-information from the health department. And the governor put us out there. The rubber's going to meet the road now.
We'll try to decipher the non-information and how it applies to weddings in 2020 and 2021. You have welcomed someone that can help decipher this information, but someone more importantly that's focusing on how she's handled reopening at Keswick Vineyards and Cindy Schornberg, and they are just doing a phenomenal job.
Absolutely, and our sponsor.
Right?
Absolutely. Thank you, Cindy, and now. Yeah.
So she will join us in about 12 minutes.
Great, yep.
And then how about Frank?
Frank Smith will be with us. He's one of our greatest DJs in the region, and he has been the innovator on the dance floor. He will give us some information. He just did his first event since COVID on Saturday, so he's going to tell us how that went.
Thank you, Ray Cadell, the fabulous musician, for sharing the show. He's watching right now. So, folks Ray. Folks want to know, Phase 3, Barbara, there was a little bit of glimmer of hope, but let's cut to the chase. We still are uncertain. We're uncertain.
They announced Phase 3 going in July 1 next week, and the numbers are up. It's not making much sense to us. The governor puts out a 38-page document that is still addressing large events and restaurants, but not focusing on weddings and events and how we handle what we do. We can only try to figure it out ourselves right now. And I have caterers out there, venues, calling the health department to say, what do we do with this? What do we do with that? And right now you can't get through on the lines. So that we're figuring it out ourselves, and they're doing a good job. We've talked about, first we were saying no buffets. Now they are saying, for instance, Frank told me that they had a buffet for this wedding on Saturday, and a couple of other caterers have told me that they will take the plate, the server will have the plate and take it down the line for the guest, and they're social distancing in the lines, and they will take the plate down and then hand the plate to the guest, and they go to their tables. So they will just tell them what they get.
So a modification.
Right.
Claire Francis says, hello, Jerry. Hello, Barbara. You guys look fantastic. Give the show a like and a share, guys, on any of these 12 Facebook pages. You got a lot of folks watching. David Sloan now watching the show.
Dave.
We love David Sloan on this set and in this community. So I'll throw this question to you, and educate a layman. You're the expert here. Why do we think that restaurants and gyms and music venues were addressed in Phase 3 reopening, but an industry that's paramount to the Commonwealth and certainly Charlottesville and Central Virginia, did it have any language at all?
It's vague. It's vague for us. We can say like the 250 number or 50%
of
the venue. We can try to figure that out, and then we have to go to the host, the client, and say, we don't know that we can take your 200. We don't know that your 200 is going to show up. It's going to be a juggling act from here on out as to what will happen with their guest count coming in, and what we can do to social distance, how the couple will assign the seats, putting families together at a table, putting people together that are comfortable to be together at the tables, and assigning that way. I think it might go out the window a little when you get on the dance floor. So there will be some standing possibly at the ceremonies, which might drive our photographers crazy a little bit, but
you have some
we just
watching.
have to, so maybe seating the immediate family and standing, and some seating for those who really need seating. But maybe some standing around as well.
Did the email inbox start to get full, or did the phone start to ring once phase 3 started coming down the pipeline? Did that impact engagement from your brides or your mothers, or was there still a wait and see?
I have been staying in touch with my brides, so no, not yet. My next event is September, so we'll start talking about it. We are waiting to see what happens with the events in the meantime. And when we do their walkthrough, we will we'll talk about all the details that need to be addressed. Yeah.
Fantastic. The fabulous Al Schornberg watching the program. I love Al.
Hi, Al.
Tremendously. I have a lot of respect for that guy, as he knows. You have Will watching. Summer 2021 will be an insane wedding season, he says. Agree or disagree on that comment?
It will be insane. Yeah.
How so?
Well, the sad part, and Ray says this all the time, we'll be working for half price.
What do you mean?
Because we lost business this year. We've rescheduled for next year, and we didn't get paid this year. We're working for half price next year.
Oh, understood. Because the days you're booking next year are days that otherwise you would be booking full price.
Right.
Well, can we, let me be a businessman and play devil's advocate with you. Then can we up the volume of the weddings by leveraging the Thursday, Sunday, Friday slots? And then you guys would then work harder the week but potentially earn the same income?
We can try.
But people you don't think will respond that way?
They don't want Thursdays.
Right.
You know,
that's so hard with work. How can you do it?
Yeah, your guests can't do it.
How about the Sunday?
Yeah. Sundays are good. I mean, Sundays and Fridays are normally discounted at a venue. Maybe not so much for other vendors, but you can save some money that way. It's a smart way to go for a client. Yeah. Definitely.
The musician Jimmy Krasinski's watching from Ruckus the Bulldog. Carmelita Wood says, "Good morning, Barbara. You look beautiful, and I love your shirt." She loves your shirt.
My
Wait,
shirt.
the shirt is part of the show. Are we going to do that now?
It is, yes.
Okay. Can I see it? It looks great.
Yes. In a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Okay.
That's my shirt for today.
I like it, Barbara.
And your positive chocolates.
Yes, and she gave us chocolates every time Barbara comes into I Love CVille. She has beautiful chocolates with inspirational messages on
Dove
the foil.
Chocolates.
Dove
Absolutely,
chocolates.
Yeah. We have to be, looking up.
You got questions for you. Are you ready?
Oh, I'll try.
Okay, this is from our buddy Ray Cadell.
Oh, Ray. Okay.
He says, Barbara, who's in charge? Is it the venue? Is it the planner? Is it the mother of the bride? Is it the number of... Who's in charge? Distancing? Help? I need help. We're all asking the same questions.
We all need help. Well, as always, we work as a team, but the venues, the caterers, the planners are discussing this now, and ultimately the venues are going to take a lead. As far as my conversations are going, they will take a lead, and we all work as a team. We're talking about liability, and everyone's working on a liability sign-off for the couple. And everyone who is working, all staff, my caterers are doing temperature checks and making sure that no staff is showing up with any symptoms of anything. So we're all being responsible on our end. That's all we can do. The client has to sign off on their piece of being responsible for their guest.
I love it. I love it. The beautiful thing about the Fairy Godmother show is you can leave comments in the comment section and we will relay them on air. She's an extremely popular lady because the comments are flying in. Iris Hosey Luck. Hello, my friend.
Iris.
You look fantastic.
My girl. Yeah.
Dennis Payne is saying, Barbara, Dennis Payne, playback DJ service, remember us. He's leaving that comment.
High school again.
On the comment section. Christelle Coper. What Ray said, Barbara, you're amazing. All right, so this question's coming in. Jerry, please ask Barbara who she thinks this is going to be the most difficult for someone that's working on a wedding. That's a good question.
It's the dance floor right now. I mean, it's going to be difficult for all of us, and I've said this before. Doing a wedding, it's the most important day of their life. It's stressful on all of us. It's the most stressful job there is. And we're doubling this to make it safe. So all of us are going to be on edge. I'm thankful I don't have a wedding immediately. I can learn from what's going on. But
is there a playbook? Is there like a playbook for opening?
No.
Yeah, right?
We're making it up as we go along, but I'm very, very proud of what I'm hearing from our top-notch vendors, and that's important for clients to know who you are hiring. And the people we're hearing from right now, they're the top-notch.
We have
they are the top-notch.
The fabulous winemaker, Stephen Bernard, watching
Hi,
right now.
Stephen.
He says, good morning, Barbara and Jerry. Andre Xavier, the co-founder and CEO of CVille Hop-On Tours, says it's hard to get hotel blocks for Sunday and Thursday weddings.
Let's talk about UVA.
Okay, go ahead. Andre literally wants us to talk about UVA.
Let's talk about UVA.
Yeah.
Did you get a letter wanting donations yesterday?
Okay. So here's intriguing, and I'm curious of your take. And we got a lot of UVA folks watching. Got a letter from UVA wanting donations.
Yeah.
Got the call to action in the mail for football tickets. I'm seeing the call to action on social media to try to buy football tickets.
Yeah.
And then we don't know really what's going on.
They haven't made the call. They haven't made the call.
Your show.
And then they canceled or postponed graduation. And we're still being held hostage on the hotel rooms.
Can you explain that to everybody?
We don't know if we have fans in the stands. They have not made that announcement. But it's looking like we are. We don't know who or how many, how they're going to handle it, and it's infuriating all of us. It's just, and then we got a letter in the mail asking for donations when we were all
wondering what's going on. So if you don't have the hotel blocks, so you're basically saying the hotel blocks for fall are still booked because fans are uncertain whether or not they're going to the football game.
Right.
And that's impacting you guys.
Absolutely. The weddings that are scheduled or rescheduled, they don't have rooms. And we're all kind of frantic about it.
Well, how do you do you solve problems for a living, right?
Well,
in a lot of ways.
And the other side to that is we refer to Airbnb. That's another industry that's hurting. I rent my house on Airbnb, but I've taken it off because I'm scared of COVID.
Right.
You know,
sure.
I'm in the age range. I have to be careful, and I don't want people in my house. I don't know where they've come from.
Can I ask you? Is this too personal of a question? Can I? That's a hit, right? Taking it off air.
That's another hit I took. Yeah, my business has been on hold, and I haven't been able to rent my house. So, yeah.
Barbara Lundgren, guys, absolutely amazing. Yeah. Give her a like and a share like Madison Hornsby has done. Is it Nedad Doder has done? Like Rachel Labonte has done. Linda Birch has given you some props.
That's my sister.
Give it a like and share. Linda Birch, que pasa, chica? Where's she watching?
She's right over here.
Okay, she's watching over here. What's Lynchburg for you? I've been meaning to ask you that.
Lynchburg is where my new granddaughter is.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going down there this afternoon. Yeah, I'm going to hold the baby.
So when we welcome you on the I Love CVille show, are you in Lynchburg?
No, I was last week.
Okay.
Yeah, I was down there last week.
You got to welcome your grandchild on.
Oh, yeah.
To the show.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see that. Mike Hall just shared the post. Andre's loving what he's seeing. Judah, why don't we welcome the very beautiful Cindy Schornberg to the show?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
I'm going to reach out to her now, JW. While I reach out to her, why don't we introduce everybody to Cindy? Why you like Cindy? What she's all about?
Cindy approached me years ago. Just saw our Facebook page and our website and knew what I was doing and said, hey, would you like to come over and talk to us about doing our events? We're going to start doing weddings here. And I was then their event manager.
And we have her
hello, Cindy.
On the line.
Yeah.
We can welcome her to the show. We have the ravishing, the beautiful, the intelligent Cindy Schornberg on the show of Keswick Vineyards. Cindy, good morning. Thank you for joining us. How's everything going?
Doing well, Jerry. Thank you. Hi, Barbara.
Hello, Cindy. So Cindy and I have been staying in close touch. Hello. Trying to work through some things because we've kind of been through the mud, the blood, and beer. And now going through COVID, and we've been through sound ordinance issues, and we've been through microburst storms and frost. Well, I haven't been on the wine side all that much, but in terms of events, we've been through a lot. So I know from our conversations and from what I see on Facebook and what Stephen does that Keswick is doing it right, and they always do. They are getting great reviews on how they handle the tasting room, but I'm going to let you take it from there and how you have handled phase 3 and phase 2 and what you're thinking about into phase 3 just a little, because we're not there yet. I understand that. Yeah.
Right. Well, for us, we have been in phase 1 and phase 2 regarding our tasting room and how we had to open that up. So it really was like starting a new business because no one was allowed to come inside. So everything moved outside, and we kind of are really set up very well for that. We are mostly an outdoor venue when it comes to our tasting room and also for our weddings. So it came down to now the safety factors and all the requirements to open, even if you have the space. So the social distancing, the disinfecting, sanitizer stations, using everything disposable, mask, just arrows to show the way traffic is to flow into a restroom, cleaning, just a lot of new rules that you got to follow. So that was fine. We got everything in order. The hardest part has been probably finding all the supplies you need for cleaning and mask and all that. So I've been busy sewing masks for those that don't have them and supplying them to our employees. So now we're in phase 3. So really that just means more people are allowed on the property. But again, you got to maintain these other social distancing rules. So just because the governor says you can go up to a certain amount of number, it's really what a business is comfortable doing, where you feel everyone, you can still keep them as safe as possible in the conditions you're given.
Great. And you mentioned supplies. Are you having better luck with supplies now, or is that getting...
I mean, everyone is thrilled. You can go to a grocery store now and buy toilet paper. I mean, that's a big thing, because when you're running a tasting room, you got hundreds of people coming in and out. They need toilet paper. And when you're only allowed to buy one, roll at the grocery store, it makes it very difficult. So at least you're finding some of this stuff at stores now, but a lot of the hands-free stuff is still on back order. Now getting ready to do weddings, we're looking at different type of, fogging machines and stuff like that we're going to be needing. And those are, a little bit, delayed. You don't get them within a day or two. So hopefully everything will get here before we actually have our first wedding, which is in a few weeks.
What's the feedback that you get from your visitors?
Good question.
Very positive. It's really nice when people come. It's a couple of stories where we've had people that will call and make a reservation, and we've had one that had like a heart condition. We've had people that have cancer and going through chemotherapy, but they've been locked up. They need to get out. They got cabin fever, and they'll call and they're like, what are you doing? And that's why we recommend, like, okay, you're at high risk. Come first thing in the morning. We're not as busy at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And we tuck them in a corner. And as people come, we make sure we're seating people further away from them. And they see what we're doing when someone leaves, is sanitizing. They see that I am enforcing masks. They see my employees, what they're doing. As soon as someone leaves, we're on it, and we're cleaning it. And when they leave, they always are like, oh, we see what you're doing. We're so appreciative. They're like, we're going to refer you. And they'll leave reviews saying, 5-star review, they felt safe and secure, which really makes me feel good. That's been our goal for Al and I and all of my staff, to make sure not only are we keeping our staff safe, but anyone that comes there, we want them to feel like they can enjoy themselves and not worry about the virus for those few hours that they're here. Enjoy the wine. Take a break.
And we know that you stay in close contact with your couples, and you're going to be on top of the weddings coming up. And there are some coming up pretty soon, and now that we are in phase 3.
Yep. So July, finally, well, it's been tough as everyone's been canceling and moving weddings. So we still, have a few diehards that were, holding out hope that we would advance in these stages so they could have more guests come. So our first wedding this year will actually be in July now. So we're gearing up for it. Our tent is up. We're, getting everything in place to open the business on this side. So we got everything going really good on the other side of the business. I think we've fixed any hiccups there ever was, if there was any. And now for the weddings, very confident of what we're doing. That first wedding will be, opening day. That's where you're going to see things and be like, well, need to do this or didn't need to do that. And you'll learn from it. But I think it will be just like our tasting room. When we first opened it, people were so excited just to be able to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. So I think, again, the couples are going to be just thrilled that they're finally getting their wedding day. It's obviously not the wedding they dreamed of. We're all dealing with issues. Nothing is working this year like anyone dreamed of. But we're all making the best of it. And I think that's where, and I think their guests, everyone I've dealt with has been just so appreciative. They don't mind wearing the mask. They respect our rules. As soon as someone comes here, I make them put sanitizer on. That's like the first thing. It's like, wash it. You got to get your hands washed before you're coming in to my property and touching anything. And they just respect that. So, I think if you communicate it, they see it. No one wants to get this virus. So I think they respect and appreciate the safety steps you're doing for them.
I love that. Let's turn that into a highlight clip.
Absolutely.
That was phenomenal,
yeah.
Judah. Can we play that on the I Love CVille show? Because that was a phenomenal answer.
I tell my brides, too, you wanted the wedding that they'll never forget. So here we go. We're going like remember the cicada year. We had the cicadas infest and
people were flipping
infested. You have some great events coming up for the public. So tell us about those.
Our tasting room is open daily. So Monday through Thursday, you can show up without a reservation, enjoy some wine. We're open 10 to 5. Fridays through Sundays are our busy days, so we really recommend reservations. We have tables set up with umbrellas. We're going up to groups of 6. I purposely have done that. You can go up to groups of 10. I have chosen, as a business owner, to limit it to 6. Again, just controlling that crowd and germ things. On Saturdays, we have musicians here, usually from like 10 to 3, or not 10 to 3, 12 to 3 or 12 to 4. On the 4th of July, we are still moving forward with our red, white, and bluegrass event that we do every year. It's a little bit different this year because we do have to control the crowd. We can't just let everybody in. So it is mostly by reservations. If we sell out of the tables we have, then we'll close the event. Otherwise, if there's still some vacancy, and you may take the chance to show up that day, and you might be able to still get in. But that will be something. Our doors will open at 11. Music will start at 12, go to 4. It's a one-day reservation. You're here for the entire day. You'll have a table, umbrella. We'll have 2 food trucks here, entertainment. So, and we are allowing families. Right now, our tasting room is 21 and over. Again, just trying to control the germ, people touching everything. 4th of July, we decided to open up to children also. So bring your families out. Love to see you. Mask required, moving around the property.
Right.
But otherwise, relax and enjoy it. You'll have your own area, your safe bubble, as I call it, and you can do what you want in that bubble.
I'm going to throw something at you that we didn't talk about, so
I like those.
I'm sorry, but this just came to my head. What's happening in the wine industry in terms of the awards and the medals? What's happening there with your competitions? Because, you know, we need to recognize your wonderful wines in the industry.
And
so
they get a lot of awards.
So those events aren't happening either. What's happening there?
Well, those events are still happening because those are wine competitions. So that's where you kind of submit your wine, you ship them to whoever, if it's a San Francisco Wine Chronicle competition, we're going to submit the wines, you ship it to them. They have the judges, they try the wines, then they, decide who wins the gold, silver, bronze, and notify you of that and send you your medals. Things that I don't think are going to be happening are the wine festivals. I think those are all on scratch. Just like right now, they're not wanting really you to do tastings in tasting rooms because you don't want the glass or the bottle to be touching different glasses. And there's a chance that could happen. And that's why, we're kind of doing flights and bottle sales and wine by the glass.
Okay. And the celebratory events for the awards are not going to happen as well. So those kinds of things. Yeah.
Those usually happen more in the wintertime as it is. We're in our, we're growing season now and everyone's getting ready to go to harvest. So usually the awards are more like a January, February, March time frame. It's just like a wedding. They'll probably be doing it different. There'll be something. But it may limit how many tickets, maybe it's just the owners that are attending where you can't bring a lot of people. Maybe you aren't able to taste everyone's wine. It'll be different, I'm sure. I'm just not sure.
Sure. I got a couple questions for you here, Cindy. And some are coming in on the feed, and thank you so much for joining us. Can you put into perspective this? You guys are leaders in the space and managing being leaders in the space and reopening and doing it in a safe way. So I was talking to one of our clients on the downtown mall, owns a prominent restaurant, and he felt compelled as downtown was reopening to reopen his restaurant because he knew he was a leader in the downtown mall and it was going to attract folks downtown. You guys, similar kind of, influence in the wine space in Virginia. What are your thoughts?
Like I said, Jerry, we are really set up for outdoor stuff, and I think that's where everyone's feeling safe right now. When you're outdoors, you got that air movement. You're not confined. You don't have to worry about the air conditioning. So for us, we have an outdoor bar already. It was very simple to transition into that. The wedding's the same thing. We're a tent. So again, we don't have the walls confining our weddings, and I think people will feel more comfortable with that. It's just staying on top of restrooms and cleaning them. So I think it's great with this wedding community and wine community. We're all sharing information. What are you doing? What products are you using? What works? What doesn't work? I'm reaching out to the rental companies right now to find out what they're using to sanitize stuff because I'm about to have a bunch of people here. I need to figure out what's the quickest way, the most safest way to get it done because we are going to have weddings back to back to back. So it's just been a learning experience, but when you're in this business, especially if you do event planning, you learn, that's why people hire you is to handle the oops, a storm's coming in. What do you do? We lose power. What are you going to do? The bride's dress ripped. What do you do? That you're ready. You got to think on your feet. And that's what we're doing right now. We are thinking, wow, we got a new issue, this virus. How do you deal with it? What are we dealing with? How do you keep everyone safe? And when you have that in your background, you're quick to find solutions. Like, okay, it's just another obstacle. Let's just to get over their hurdle, but we will. And we all work it out together, and it's fine.
I love that answer.
Yeah.
That was a great answer.
Perfect.
And you added it with the snaps in there. The snaps made it really good. Can you get that for the I Love CVille show with the snaps, please, Judah? That was good. Can you put this in perspective, Cindy? We look up to you guys tremendously here. How about the flip book of what you were feeling throughout this? I mean, like the vulnerability to the fear to then getting over it, and we're going to figure this out. Because I think we all have this. Like in the beginning, I would use a different word if there weren't a lot of it. I was so scared. And then I'm like, you know what? This is just like being an entrepreneur. And like you just said, it's about figuring this out. But how about you personally?
Do you sleep?
Yeah, no, Al and I mean, we're entrepreneurs. So this was just another, new business kind of opening up. How do you do it? So we kind of thrive on stuff like that. So it got the brain working again. The gears were a little rusty. It's like, okay, we got to reinvent ourselves. Online our business kind of shifted, everything online. We're doing these virtual tastings on Tuesday with our winemaker. He's kind of become a rock star from it. He's got his own T-shirts made up for this. I mean, it's great. You got side pickup. We were delivering wine to people's houses, so they were very surprised to see the owner of a winery showing up with wine. I'd have my daughter drive me around, get her out of the house. So it's been great, actually. What's been tough is really when you see these photographers, DJs, caterers that couldn't do what we were trying to do to still find a way to sell our product. They need to be working physically. They need to be.
They need the venue.
Exactly. And they're in business for themselves, so they're not getting the aid that's needed. So it's been really heartening to see, comments they're making on Facebook. I mean, they're hurting big time. They're worried about paying their rent and car. It's sad. So I really worry about that and how, my coworkers, my friends in this industry are going to pull through this. So we're all kind of helping one another. They got food banks going to help people in this business that need that help during these times. So hopefully we're all going to make it through it. I know we will, and I think we'll all be more appreciative. I know usually at the end of the year we're so tired from doing weddings and we're like, just can't wait for it to be done. Now I think we're all going to be like, all right, we're just happy to go to work, happy to be around people and appreciate, all that we do have. I think maybe before we took it for granted. Now we're appreciating.
You've had a chance to use your pool. You usually don't do. Yeah. So do you and Al get any sleep? I mean, or how many sleepless nights have you had?
Oh God, yeah.
Lots. Yeah. Yeah, me too.
At the beginning, no money's coming in. You got payroll. Yeah. We didn't want to lay off any employees or anything like that. You're dealing with these couples, not sure what to tell them because, normally as a planner, you give advice and governor's not giving it, health department isn't. So it's really hard to advise when you're still looking for guidelines. So that's been very stressful. Every day dealing with that many brides that are upset and you're dealing with personal stuff. My daughter graduated from high school. We couldn't do her graduation, so we were upset about that. Couldn't do the grand party. And so I know the hurt and the pain and the adjustment we're all making. So just make the best of it. That's all we can do. One day at a time.
We all become counselors in this for our couples, too. I mean, every vendor has told me that. I feel like a counselor to our couple.
Handling it with grace, it's devastating. We've all had our moments to just have our meltdown, but then it's like, okay, we've had that. Let's move forward.
Move on. Can't change. Move on. Yeah.
Yep.
You were amazing, Cindy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Cindy, you crushed this. You're a natural. Thank you so much for joining us. Seriously. You have a good one. I like the backdrop, too. The backdrop was
Those
really
are all
nice.
of her photos.
Right? I really like it.
She takes photos at every event, every wedding. She takes her own photos.
Really?
And
she's dynamic.
Does her blog. She does a blog for each wedding and puts it on the website. And it's very personal there. It's a family-run business.
Oh, yeah.
And
one of the best.
All the families there. It's at their home.
Right.
The wedding is surrounding their home. And it's quite a unique place.
Cindy is amazing. Al is amazing. Stephen watching right now. Stephen says, and we have a lot of comments coming into, and we will get to Frank. Frank, if you're watching, and I see you watching, Frank, we're going to go to you in 4 minutes on this program here on the Virginia Wedding and Event Showcase. Stephen Bernard says, I would echo that. I've heard a lot of customers saying they feel comfortable coming out and appreciate the measures that everyone's taken. So this is what I've seen from Keswick, and as you know, I live right around the corner. They have ample land outside. They're cautious and mindful of social distancing and being safe, and they're taking the right measures to build confidence in their customers. And when you go there, and we've been with our son and my wife, 2 weeks ago, when you go there, you feel confident. Right. You feel safe. Right. And that breeds...
You feel at home.
Right.
Yeah, you do. You do. And at one time, they were stressed over having such a small tasting room. They've expanded everything to be outside, and what a great place to be right now.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I've seen similar innovations, say even at Sal's Cafe Italia in the downtown mall. They are building their restaurant outside. So we're seeing like this amazing innovation across everybody that's happening. I really was impressed with her can do it, and you have it too, can do it attitude where it's like, this is going to be hard and there's going to be some bumps, but we're going to figure this out.
That's right. We do it. That's the name of the game in this industry. Absolutely.
Do you see them as the leaders? I mean, who else is leading the way?
Yeah, one of the leaders. King family. King family got us all started. Veritas. They're all out there leading the way.
Ashley Morris says, hi, Cindy, and hi, Barbara, from Ricky. Jamie K says, two of my favorites. I miss you guys, Jamie. Cindy and Barbara. Give it a like and a share on any of these 12 Facebook pages you're watching the program on. Evelyn Keys, great job, Barbara. You are rocking this. Tim Wanda Barden, hey, Barb, you're doing an incredible job. Ray Cadell wants to emphasize this. My musicians will be tested Monday of every week we are working at CVS, and it's free. Please emphasize that.
Working at CVS.
No, my musicians will be tested.
Tested at CVS.
Monday
oh, sorry.
Of every week.
That's right. He did tell me that. Yeah. Yes, they are on it. He has an association that meets on Zoom every Wednesday night, and they're brainstorming, and they're all over the country. So a lot of the southern states are on this Zoom with them and telling them what is going on down there.
Because they're in more of a hotspot area, and they open earlier.
Yeah, they opened earlier, and so he's learning a lot from what's going on down there. So he's on top of it.
Claire Francis says, Cindy Schornberg, your great attitude and entrepreneurial spirit are very encouraging for all of us that are watching. Thank you for that, Cindy.
So there's one thing I want to bring up, and that's the numbers going up, and we mentioned that. One associate told me the other day that she checked on her August bride and asked what the measures they were taking to be safe for her wedding.
Wedding in the area?
The coming here for their wedding, yes. And she said, oh, no, hadn't thought about it, haven't done a thing. That's the age group where the numbers are going up.
Sure.
Okay? And this is the scary thing, is that the age group we're dealing with in weddings are the ones that are feeling invincible. I saw a newscast this morning. The guy was 30, and he said, yep, I went out to a bar, I thought I was invincible, I have COVID now. And we just have to be careful. I mean, we're opening up, but you still have to do your thing. You know, you still have to do what we need to do.
Do we have an overall association in Virginia for the industry that can offer maybe their protocols for what's happening in weddings?
There are lots of associations.
Okay, so there's no unified body. So that's the problem, is it's splintered.
Yeah. And normally it's mostly advertising associations.
Okay, where you're often paying for play.
Yeah.
And really, it's just, okay, I get it.
Locally, we have CCWP, and we've been meeting almost weekly for seminars and maybe some social time and things like that.
Mac Weems, fabulous State Farm agent, has this for the Keswick team. We went to Keswick Vineyards recently and felt very safe and socially distanced. We had a great day at Keswick Vineyards. And that's from Mac Weems. Now, should we go to Frank?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to get
see Frank
on the line. Judah, why don't we do this? While we get Frank on the line, give us some insight into why you welcome Frank to the show.
Frank and I have been staying in touch in terms of what how he's being so innovative with his business in COVID. He's had some great ideas. He digs deep in his research, and I've just been staying in touch with him a lot and learning a lot from him.
That's a phenomenal intro to Frank Smith here.
Frank.
Digging deep with his research. I like that. Yeah. You're now live for Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the Virginia Wedding and Event Showcase. Before we get into the X's and O's with you and Barbara, Frank, how about take a moment to introduce you personally, what you're all about, who you are, just Frank the man before we talk shop.
Yeah, man, no problem. Thanks for having me, first of all.
Sure.
So my name's Frank Smith. I'm, you said get to know the man. I'm married with 4 kids, 15 to 2 are their ages. Really busy day job. I work for the state. So, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, I'm really focused in on what I'm doing with my day job. And then other than that, evenings and weekends is pretty much dedicated to a combination of family and my couples and my clients, just as far as the DJ industry goes.
Love the T-shirt.
Yeah,
love the T-shirt. I am the DJ. Yeah,
I am the DJ. Yep.
Frank, you had an event this past weekend, so you're one of the first of us to get out there, and it was a 50-ish person event. So tell us how that went. Tell us what you can tell us.
How'd it go, Frank?
Yeah, no, I mean, so far, it went pretty well. The venue that I was at had everything spaced out really well. The ceremony was, of course, outside, which is a staple here in our area. People wanting their ceremony outdoors. So they had plenty of extra seating outside for the ceremony to keep everybody spread out well. They actually had me significantly off to the side, which was great. Of course, there was a lot of rain that day, so I needed to be in coverage for my equipment. But overall, that went really well. And then transitioning over into the reception area, I felt like they did a good job of spacing tables. They were very aware of trying to put family units together. So they had some extra tables where I think they could have normally fit, they could have fit more people at one table, but they chose to, keep them spread out. The catering staff there was excellent. They had a buffet line where they served the client or the customer, the person at the guest at the wedding, passing the plate down the buffet line with the servers. So at no point did the client or the guest touch the plate until it got to the end. Dance floor was interesting for me because I didn't know what to expect, of course. When you're looking at a smaller wedding, you never know what's going to happen with the dance floor. So they were really active. They were really into it. With less tables, they were able to be spread out a little bit more. But ultimately, people wanted to have a good time. And so they got out there and they danced.
So you're saying they got after it, Frank. You're saying they got pretty close, right? You're saying there was no room for the Holy Spirit, is what you're saying. No room for the Holy Spirit. And you know what? I'm in a lot of professional development groups for DJs across America and states that are opening, events that are happening. The pictures that are going up are all very similar. I think everybody's been cooped in for 3 months, and they're ready to have a good time. And they feel safe because these are family and friends. They aren't, it's not going to a bar or a restaurant and dancing with a bunch of random people around you. These are people they're comfortable with. Well, can I throw this to you? How do we prevent that? So we have a man in Frank who's playing incredible music. Music just by nature makes us want to move around, right?
Right.
We're serving adult beverages that loosen.
Absolutely, that's the scariest part,
us
right?
Have fun. How do we keep? I mean, isn't that just going to happen?
That's where the liability piece comes in. We do what we need to do for our staff. We're making sure that we're taking all the safety precautions, and then we guide our clients.
So you're saying that's how far you can go? You take it to that line, and then it's up to people to determine what they want to do. What do you think, Frank?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I was actually speaking with a venue manager the other day, asking some questions about how they planned on, approaching the family units or household units at a table, potential, those kind of rules that are coming out there. And the question was posed to me, how do I do that on the dance floor? There's no way to do that on the dance floor. It doesn't matter how many people you have manning the dance floor. Are you going to check their IDs as they enter the dance floor and tell them they can only stay over here with this group of people? I mean, there's no good way of handling that. I think all you can do is provide the information, right? Ask people to wear masks, ask people to stay distant. But once they're out there on the dance floor
with alcohol,
with friends and family, and Frank's music playing,
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything. I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't know that there's any good answer for that.
Right. And you have you described to me, and I haven't seen it, but some type of shield, or is there a shield at your station, or you're just staying distant?
No, so I have a facade that I can use. So it's basically a floor facade. It sets in front of the table. It's about 4.5 feet tall, and normally I put it really close into the table, tuck it in nice and tight to the table. But this year, I plan on maybe extending that facade out a little bit just to create a little bit more space.
But you got to tell me about that, Frank. I might not have space for that, okay? Let me know. We got to make room for you. I'm spacing out those tables 6 feet apart. Come on.
Yeah. No, and I mean, honestly, I'll probably, and I use that at all weddings. Yeah. So, I mean, you've seen it before, but I'll probably back myself up against a wall before I'll push myself forward. Just because normally, you leave a little bit of space for chairs or whatever's going on behind you, maybe camera bags and stuff like that from photographers and videographers. So I'll just kind of push myself back and maybe ask those other vendors, just for the safety of everybody, right? So you don't have to get close to me. I don't have to get close to you. Maybe find another space at that venue that's designated for things like that.
Well, here's a question for you. What if I want to make a request?
Oh, great question. I was going to ask that.
Yeah. So this is really cool. I was thinking about different ways of handling this, making a WhatsApp where people could text me, putting a sign with my Instagram up, different things to try to promote a contactless request. However, really cool. There's a DJ who created an app basically. So you sign up, you set up the event, they give you a generic phone number, and then from there, when you get to the event, right now you'd have to put a sign up with, if you would like to request a song, please text this number. But what's really cool about it is it's also an advertising app. So at the end of the night, I can one click thank everybody who's texted me a request, include my social media links, include my website. So it's a little bit of everything, all bundled up in one. Eventually, there's going to be a potential for that app to also pick people up that are just within the area. So instead of putting a sign up, which I don't want to have to do because it just doesn't look professional at a wedding, in my opinion, to have that. Right. So, but they're working on a technology where you can text blast everybody within that area if they accept your network as they walk in. So I'm hoping that functionality happens soon, and I'm also leaving it up to the couples. So I tell them that I have these options, and if they don't like the text option, then I can put a piece of paper out at a little table to the side of me if they want that. I have other options, but ultimately, if a guest comes over, I have no way of politely saying, please step back.
And there has to be a do not play list. I mean, you can't play that lovely song that he had with the other girlfriend years ago, that kind of thing. That would be very bad. That's
Barbara's
very bad
got some
stuff.
stories to tell about that.
Gosh,
That's not for this show, though.
No. That's another. That's my book.
Let me throw this question to Frank. Frank, is there, and this might be a dumb question, does the music selection change based on today's landscape, or is it just the same go-to song, same songs? What do you think?
No, so music selection is always changing, and it's very specific to group of people. A lot of things are, what did they grow up with? They want to hear what they heard in high school and what they heard in college, and then of course there's some big hits now that they want to hear. But a majority of the music selection tends to be like what they grew up with, so that those throwbacks that make them think about when I was in high school watching TRL on MTV, or when I was at college at the local bar and we all sang Mr. Brightside to end the night at that bar every single night. So, it's very specific to your group of clientele. And then, of course, they give me a handful of songs through a planning app, and I can throw in things that are going to match and mesh well with whatever they give me.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay. So I know that you had a mentor that helped you get started, and I'd like to know if you're doing any mentoring, because you said you are part of this association. Are you passing it on? Yeah. So right now, there's a couple of local DJs that are up and coming that reach out to me pretty regularly. They want to, this year,
we were planning to have them attend events with us as kind of like an internship program, almost similar to what you do. And that was the goal. Of course, that's not happening this year now because I don't want to add extra people to the numbers within an event. So yeah, and then also there's just information sharing in general. These professional development groups with DJs, they have Facebook groups, they have Zoom calls, regular weekly. We get on there all the time, and everybody's talking about anything from music selection to their COVID waivers to everything in between, just to make sure everybody's staying safe and sharing those information.
Great. So we got a few more minutes. What else would you like to tell us?
I got a question for him.
Oh, he has a question.
Yeah,
sorry.
Frank, where are you thinking, because you clearly are a first-to-market type of guy, an innovative type of a thinker here. What are you seeing or what are you predicting, kind of crystal ball, of how weddings or events are going to change or be different down the road? Because I'm sure you've given this some thought.
Yeah, so I got to be honest with you. I've thought long and hard about it, and I've tried to prep myself for different things. After this past wedding, I think once we get into next year, once we have a better solution for COVID, once there's a little bit more clarity on what it involves and how to deal with it, I honestly think things are going to go back to normal.
Interesting.
I mean, that's really how I feel. I think 2021 is going to be off the charts for weddings. You've got to think about everybody rescheduling from this year, everybody who wanted to do a fall or winter wedding this year that never scheduled, and then they hold themselves off. It's going to be a totally different environment. People are going to be fighting for dates. I know Barb talked about Thursdays not really being an option. I think there's a potential to start seeing stuff like that. I've actually been reached out to for a Monday wedding
Get out
this year, which
That's
I thought
wonderful.
Did you take it?
Was no, I couldn't take it actually because I have.
He has another job.
Yeah, you have a job and you have kids.
Yeah, but I mean that doesn't say I didn't.
I can.
Barbara says give her the job. Barbara says give her the work, dude.
I might have to learn to be a DJ.
So yeah, Monday. I've never been asked to do a Monday except for like corporate functions, but even those are normally Tuesday, Wednesday. So yeah, I don't know. I think 2021 is going to be off the charts, and I think people are ready to dance now. And even when those groups come out that are a little more hesitant next year, I think that's
we are so ready to party.
Can I throw this to you?
Sure.
This is a storyline undoubtedly. If 2021 is off the charts from a demand standpoint, do we have the supply of vendors and venues to meet this demand? Or do we expect that the price points are just going to be increased and if the price points are increased, that's how the demand is met?
We do.
Yeah?
We don't have enough hotels.
So that's going to be the issue here.
It usually is.
Yeah.
And then Airbnb, and they're going back to cleanliness and things like that. People are still going to be scared next year of this stuff. I think we're going to come out healthier after this.
Me too.
I think even the common cold. I think we're going to come out healthier. I hope we're going to be a lot more careful.
What do you think of this topic, Frank?
Yeah, no, I mean, you work with all sorts of different vendors. There's new vendors popping up all the time. Hotels are not a concern of mine. Of course, that's definitely more on the coordinator's plate. So, I'm not familiar with the number of hotels, but I think we have the quality and number of vendors to handle most anything. It's just going to be that there's still, even with the quality being as broad as it is, there's still going to be that one or two caterers that everybody wants, and then it's, well, will that catering service just ramp their service up to cover more events, or will eventually
which isn't always
say
good.
no more?
Yeah.
No, I think what they're going to end up doing, and this is they're going to raise their prices.
They raise prices, and going back to the hotels, the hotel industry, a lot of people don't understand, especially when they're coming from out of town, what our hotel industry is like here.
What do you mean by that?
Because people can come from out of town, I want to go to the wineries for the weekend, I'm going to get a room. It's not going to happen. You can't get a room here. Locally, if you're a local here, you think, where are all these hotels coming from? We don't need all these hotels.
Right, locals, you're thinking we're over-hoteled.
Right.
But it's the opposite.
It is the opposite. I have been on a soapbox for years that CACVB, our chamber, we need to drive more business into the middle of the week.
And she's talking about the Charlottesville Albemarle Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Yes, sorry, yeah. But we need to drive more business in our corporate into the middle of the week.
We don't have a convention center, so that's why it's hard to do that.
Exactly, that's my other soapbox.
Yeah, and you're 100% right.
Yeah,
they're begging for that.
And there was a study 30 years ago, and they're going to do another study.
Another $400,000 study.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing, that makes no sense.
Right. Barbara and I have very similar
We know we need it. Yeah.
All right, how about this? We'll get Frank back in the mix.
Frank.
Yeah.
No, you're fine. No, you're good.
Let's throw this question to Frank because he's crushed this interview. How about, you have a lot of folks watching on 12 Facebook pages here. How about a word for everybody in the industry that's watching Frank that's nervous and scared and uncertain? We're a platform of positivity and inspiration here. So, show is yours, sir.
Yeah. So look, I mean, everybody has their concerns right now, right? Everybody has that family member that is in those age ranges that they say to be concerned with. Everybody knows somebody who's gotten it very seriously, or even worse, had worse ramifications than that. But here's what I'd say: we're in the service industry, and specifically the wedding industry. And we're here to provide people with an escape from their reality, right? A little bit of an escape. And it's on us as a group to make sure that those people are safe that are attending those weddings or events. But we have to remember that, our job is to make that event perfect. And if there are some little tweaks that we have to make to it for the next 6 months, year, whatever timeline that looks like, then it's our responsibility to do that. But it's also our responsibility to make sure that couples, that clients, that guests have the best time that we can make sure that they have. And as long as we're all taking the proper precautions, then, show's on. Let's do it.
Great answer.
Great. Wonderful. Yeah. And we did not say who your mentor was.
Oh,
yeah, you'd be in trouble, buddy.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm sorry. So huge shout out to TD Lehman of Sound Enforcement DJ Services. Funny story. I literally called this guy on a Tuesday night. I called TD randomly on a Tuesday night. I posted on Facebook I was going to become a DJ, that I was going to make it an official career move for me. I was going to open this business, and I was working at a daycare center at the time. A parent walked in and said, "Hey, I work with this guy who's a DJ. Here's his name and number. Call him tonight."
What?
Mm.
So I call TD randomly on a Tuesday night at around 8:30 in the evening. He picks his phone up, talks to me for 2.5 hours about the wedding industry.
And you're a stranger.
He didn't know who I was. He had no clue who I was. Then he asks me, "Hey, I got a wedding in a couple of weeks in Stanton because I live in the Augusta County area. Hey, I've got a wedding in a couple of weeks in Stanton. Why don't you come? I'll show you how to do it." Okay. So I showed up, and he literally walked me through start to finish what he did. And then since then, me and him are in constant communication. We're leveling ourselves up as a team, even though we're separate businesses. And I couldn't be more thankful for TD Lehman. He really just took me under his wing when he didn't even know who I was.
There you go.
Awesome. I love that.
That's what it's all about.
That gave me goosebumps.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great job, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
All right, thanks.
Hey, dude, you crushed this setting, man. You're really good at this. You have a good afternoon.
Yeah, man, you too.
All right, take care. Phenomenal show. Give it a like and a share on any of the Facebook pages you're watching. We will get to your comments here. Before I get to the comments, your thoughts on the interviews.
Oh, some of my favorite people. I mean, and I'm still thrilled with the industry as a whole right now. We're really going through some tough stuff, but we always rise. We always rise.
What did you think of, and Judah, if we can find this, and I'll help you find the timestamp, Barbara has got some phenomenal guests today, and Frank's take on the first wedding, on what he saw, we should play that on the I Love CVille show and give this show credit for it. So if you could turn that sizzle reel for our program coming up. What did you make of his take on the first wedding?
It sounded like it went very well. It was 50 people.
Yeah.
And,
so small.
Yes. And and one thing he didn't mention was the grandparents came to the ceremony and left for the party part. They did not stay.
Oh, that's important.
That's
Emphasize
very important.
that again.
Yeah. So that's a thought for, people who want to move forward with their weddings if they're concerned about staying. The older generation might not want to stay. Give them a plate and let them take a plate home. We do that. But that was an interesting part of it. It sounded like they handled it beautifully.
Evelyn Key says, great answer, Frank. Right on point. Courtney Wilson Hildebrand, the fabulous caterer from the catering outfit. I had a bride call today about June 12th, and we are booked along with 5 other caterers she reached out to. So interesting. Courtney also says, MS Events just built guards for bars or possibly any DJ that needs one. The guards for bars, tell me about that. So
they are building the plexiglass pieces.
Like you see in the grocery store?
Bars, yeah. One caterer told me yesterday that they're going to make them pretty. So, everything has to be pretty. All this stuff, this PPE and all of that, it's not pretty. But I think you're going to see some really creative work, and the photographers will be happy with that, too.
Tracy Shiflett says, we can just have this at your farm.
Oh, no, Tracy, thank you. But that's great. You just come down and see me.
Claire Francis says, I've had a lot of weekday inquiries for July, August, tiny weddings, max tenant attendance. Some of them just want to get married and will have a big celebration later, and some are just shifting their wedding vision to something smaller. Your thoughts?
Yes, that's happening. That happened with one of my weddings, too. Yeah, they canceled for this year. They're getting married on that date and moving to next year for a party.
3 of your photographer colleagues watching the program right now saying they love the program. So if we have Cindy's predicting, you're predicting, Frank's predicting, other vendors are predicting that 2021 is going to be a boom.
I think it might be crazy. It might be crazy. Let's get that vaccine.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And just be safe. Let's be safe out there.
Yeah.
Let's show them how we do it.
What did you think of episode number 2? We went 67 minutes. You crushed it. You did so well. You did so well.
Yeah, great.
Right?
Yeah.
Should we show the shirt again?
Oh, yeah. Be kind. Be kind.
In a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Be kind.
Barbara Lundgren. The show airs Thursdays at 10:15. It stars her, Barbara Lundgren, and her fabulous network of people in the Virginia wedding and event industry. A final word for anybody?
Next week.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll have Nate Kibler
with
the photo booth.
Yeah.
His wife has...
Triplets, right?
They're having
on the
triplets.
horizon.
Yeah. I hope he'll show up.
And Nate and his beautiful wife have been very open with documenting this.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
so unexpectedly triplets.
Right, yeah. She's Charlottesville hair and makeup. And
right.
They also have a bouncy house. So he's going to talk about that. That was just taking off when COVID hit. So
a bouncy house that was at weddings.
A wedding bouncy house.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Big, white, and beautiful.
Because it keeps the kids out of trouble.
Well, it's not for the kids.
Oh, it's for the adults. Wait, am I going to see Barbara Lundgren in the bouncy house?
No, not me. No, I have to stay safe.
I'm a mischievous person,
right.
As you know. What's your beverage of choice?
Rosé.
Okay, rosé? Okay.
This time of year. Yeah.
How many rosés does it take for Barbara to get in the bouncy house?
Ask Tish with Eric Stamer Catering.
Okay, what does that mean? Can I get that story?
No. And next week, we'll keep talking about next week.
Good change of subject, Barbara.
Tiffany Rosales with Commonwealth Cake will join us as well.
Yeah, she is big time.
Yeah.
She's built a heck of a brand.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with what she's done on social. You killed this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is fun. You make this easy. She is Barbara Lundgren of Barb Wired, the presenting sponsor of the Virginia Wedding and Event Showcase, along with Keswick Vineyards. If you're looking for something to do this weekend, I have personally done it with my wife and our 2-year-old son. a few weeks ago. Keswick Vineyards is doing it the right way.
Yep.
So if you got a little cabin fever and you want about 90 to 2 hours or 3 hours of an escape.
And great wine.
Stevens Wine.
Absolutely.
Alan Cindy's Hospitality.
Yep, yep.
And that property. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, we will see you next Thursday at 10:15 on the Virginia Wedding and Event Showcase.
Great.
Good work, Barbara. Think one for you all?
Thank you, yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nicely done. Judah, good work. We brought the big screen into the mix.
Yeah, perfect.